What we've seen from Goldman, Morgan Stanley, Barclays last week, these are all based on the fact that Tesla has gone up a lot. And Wall Street is notoriously bad at timing Tesla based on price. Remember 2020, fewer than half the analysts had buys and the stock went up sevenfold. To me, it's noise. And historically, they've had a terrible track record at timing Tesla from a valuation standpoint.
I still think it's really one of the best, if not the best auto company stock I'd buy in the world. Look, what I say to the bears is every time this company has had their obituary written or their valuation sort of temporarily hit, they've come back because of all these opportunities that were the seeds have been planted for a long time.
In this video, the procession of clueless Wall Street analysts continues. Yet another price target increase on Tesla stock, not because anything fundamentals changed about the company's valuation, no, but because the stock's up and now we're very embarrassed, so better increase that price target, guys. Gary Black has some bullish catalysts for Tesla stock, and sentiment continues to shift regarding Tesla, who suddenly, apparently, out of absolutely nowhere, are now finally an AI company. If only we had known that years ago. Oh wait, we did. And I may or may not share a few hot takes. Speaking of hot takes, if you'd like to hear my unfiltered, unvarnished thoughts, check out the links in the pinned comment to join Patreon and subscribe over on Twitter. I'm still producing exclusive content on both platforms you'll find nowhere else. So if you want more content and you think your butt can handle it, check out the links in the pinned comment. No snowflakes allowed.
Goldman Sachs, they downgraded, and it came with the price hike, or at least a hike to its price target to $248. I watched that stock close today at $241.05. Is there more gas in the tank for Tesla? I guess I really should say more charge in the battery.
Look, there's two types of downgrades from Wall Street. One is when there's a fundamentals change, and one is a price change. Fundamentals change would be the category volume growth declining, or Tesla's losing share, or there's more price cuts coming, or gross margin. What we've seen from Goldman, Morgan Stanley, Barclays last week, these are all based on the fact that Tesla has gone up a lot. And Wall Street is notoriously bad at timing Tesla based on price. Remember 2020, fewer than half the analysts had buys and the stock went up sevenfold.
Interesting data point there from Gary Black. In 2020, less than half of the analysts on Wall Street were recommending investors buy Tesla stock, and the stock surged 7x. At least when it comes to Tesla stock, Wall Street analysts are notorious for having no idea what the fuck they are talking about. And as I've said in the past, I suspect this will remain the case at least throughout the rest of this decade, if not beyond. The reason? Tesla is not just a car company. Wall Street still hasn't quite figured out electric vehicles, and by hasn't quite, I mean hasn't at all. You still have clowns like Moron Stanley expecting about 1/4 of new vehicles sold in the US in 2030 will be electric. I'm not sure what they think the other 75% is going to be. And by the time Wall Street does figure out electric vehicles, which is when they're getting turkey slapped in the face with evidence contrary to their prior predictions, maybe they'll figure it out once EVs are about 80% of the market, and it's still this decade, they still won't have grasped the implications of autonomy. By the time they figure out autonomy, they still won't understand the implications of Tesla's humanoid robot. Point is, don't expect Wall Street to change their tune anytime soon and actually understand Tesla and identify the opportunity before the stonk market figures it out. Now, as for myself, I never give investing advice. I don't have buy ratings or sell ratings on any stocks, but my personal actions do speak for themselves. From the beginning of 2016, essentially every spare dollar I've had has gone into Tesla stock. I've been buying the entire fucking time. If I were a Wall Street analyst, I guess you could say that I would have had a buy rating on Tesla since 2016. And if we look at my Tesla transactions from 2016 through to 2019, before the massive surge, over that period of time, without a huge amount of capital, just everything I had available, all my spare cash, I was able to accumulate over 12,000 shares. Some might say I'm lucky. Others might say maybe this guy actually saw opportunity that Wall Street and many other investors didn't. And spoiler alert, that will be the story of Tesla stock for the entire decade, in my opinion. I don't think people really grasp the scale of the multiple opportunities that Tesla is stacking on top of one another. I do suspect, however, that we're going to see the clowns on Wall Street continuing to expose themselves as clueless. There'll be sporadic periods throughout the decade where Tesla stock surges, at least in my opinion. This will catch these analysts by surprise, who will then scramble to justify why they're massively increasing their price target, and then they'll be reverse engineering reasons as to why they can justify this, when the truth is they didn't understand the opportunity, they missed it, and now they're trying not to look too stupid. Meanwhile, I'm still buying with every spare cent.
because they launched the Model Y, which was a new TAM, a new total addressable market, is a CUV, and they just blew out the volumes in 20 and 2021. And you have something very similar happening in the third quarter, where Cybertruck, which is a new TAM for Tesla, pickups 20% of the market. There's 1.8 million pre-orders, and that's going to come out, and it's going to attract interest in the whole Tesla category. Because when people see one of these things, riding around, they're going to go to the Tesla website, or they're going to the Tesla store, and they may not buy a Cybertruck because Cybertruck's not for everybody, but they'll buy a Tesla 3 or they'll buy a Tesla Model Y. And that's what happened in 2020. So, when the Wall Street downgrades based on price, to me, it's noise. And historically, they've had a terrible track record at timing Tesla from a valuation standpoint.
The dude is spitting nothing but facts.
Goldman Sachs today joins a slew of other banks downgrading Tesla, the firm cutting shares of the electric car maker to neutral from buy, though also increasing the company's price target to $248 from $185.
Now, sorry to have to do this again, but I have to do this again. This is Derp. I tweeted a picture of Derp on the 7th of June. Breaking. Leaked photo of NPC Wall Street analysts about to upgrade their Tesla stock price targets, not because anything material has changed in their Tesla thesis or valuation model, but because Tesla stock is now above their price target. If your fair valuation changes because the stock price changes, not because something material has changed about the company and your investment thesis, you are a clown. I literally knew this would happen, and the fact that ahead of time I could predict the exact behavior of the 150 plus IQ geniuses on Wall Street, literally tweeting what they were going to do a few weeks ahead of time, is an indictment on the whole industry. It's an absolute clown show. As I've said in the past, respect and credibility must both be earned. As a whole, on average, Wall Street analysts have earned neither. In fact, all they've earned is ridicule and disrespect. I think you'd be lucky to find a single pair of testicles between every analyst on Wall Street. Tesla stock starts collapsing, down almost 80% from all-time highs. How many analysts stood strong with their price target because nothing fundamental had changed about the company and what they thought fair value to be? Very few. Most instead, zero courage, zero testicles, gigantic pussies, chasing the stock down so they don't feel embarrassed because their price target, their fair valuation is a lot higher than Tesla currently is. For you to believe that the stock is worth a lot more than it was currently worth, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? For you to have identified an opportunity that suggests that there's a lot of value in Tesla that the market's not recognizing, can't have that. Oh no, because that might be different from everybody and you can't be different. This is what happens as an analyst if you don't have a pair of nuts and you don't understand a company. This is the key distinction between people who understand the company and have conviction and belief in the valuation and what they think fair value is, and the Wall Street NPCs. Bunch of gigantic vaginas. And don't get me wrong, I love vaginas. Just not the kind that chase Tesla stock up and down with their price targets. Of course, it wasn't just the dolts on Wall Street who were exposed as Tesla stock crashed nearly 80% from all-time highs, was it? Plenty of genius investors here on YouTube also panicking, shitting the bed, freaking out and thinking they were smart enough to know what happened next. Some even believing they were smart enough to trade in and out of the stock. And sometimes that works out. But in the long run, if you believe the stock's valuation is significantly higher than where it's actually currently trading, probably not a winning strategy.
Joining us now, Yahoo Finance's Prasad Subramanian to discuss more with us. I mean, it's just like a pile-on at this point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what it is, 1's an occurrence, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a trend, right? So we have a trend going on here. Again, pretty much the same kind of call with the other banks there. It's a valuation thing. They're talking about how it better reflects, the stock now better reflects what they think is the long-term view of the company, and downgrading to neutral as not as an overweight kind of position for investors. Talking about things like, they didn't see the run coming, right? They didn't see it coming, but they're surprised by it. But they think it's due to things like reports of better sales in April and May, not official reports, but just reports. Less discounting than they thought. The Model 3 getting the full tax credit, the charging deals, and then of course the AI sort of frenzy. So all that sort of led to the stock, a huge move for Tesla this year, in particular last May. So kind of a big deal there. So they mentioned that, but also they said the company is still well positioned. And like you said, they hiked the price target. They're really sort of behind there in terms of where the stock is right now. But they also actually hiked their estimates for next quarter too. So there is that for that sort of position move up higher.
It does. I agree with Julie. I thought that it does feel like a pile-on. It's like if you can't beat the rest of the analysts, join them.
It is pathetic. Bunch of sheeple on Wall Street. Herd mentality. Can't be different, can't think different, can't have a different opinion. What's everyone else doing? Let's copy. We just can't bear to possibly be an outlier. Even if it turns out we're right and the majority, the consensus, is wrong. And in totally unrelated matters, I'd just like to apologize for getting swept up in the groupthink and the herd mentality in the last few years when I didn't speak out heavily against the lockdowns. Oh wait, I did. And when I didn't say that it was a scamdemic and the plague was real, but the response was a scam, and oh wait, but I did. And how I didn't say that it was for your protection, not their quarterly profits. Oh wait, I did that as well. I guess I have nothing to apologize for. It turns out both my testicles and my brain remained fully functional over the last few years when many other people couldn't say the same. And there is a lesson here, folks. The lesson here is it seems that human nature is to conform to what everyone else thinks, to be part of the group, the tribe, to not dare have an opinion that's outside consensus. So if you do, definitely don't share it out loud. Why? Because people are desperate for the approval of others. This phenomenon is not just constrained to Wall Street analysts trying to understand a company like Tesla. You must fight your nature. Otherwise, you're going to be Wall Street analyst NPCing in just about every area of your life. I hope you guys understand this phenomenon is not just isolated to analysts who can't understand a company like Tesla. It is human nature. If lots of people think one thing, it must be true. And if I dare have an opinion that's not in line with the consensus, I best not share it. In fact, I best just tell myself that I'm wrong and I'll just believe what everyone else believes, because that's how you be a human, at least one who's desperate for the approval of others.
And it's funny because the downgrades are coming even as most of them are raising their price targets.
Right.
Yeah.
So they still expect the stock to
perform
be
better.
higher than they
Exactly.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah, and for Goldman, they're still below where the price of the stock is right now, but they brought it up considerably, so they're confident of at least maintaining that level for now. But like you said, it's just following the train, right?
Yes.
The stock starts shooting up. We got to catch up. We got to catch up. So
exactly.
I know you follow this pretty closely.
Yes.
So yeah.
Just to be crystal clear, I want to make sure this is on the record. As of late June 2023, if we thought the price target increases from Wall Street NPC analysts were over, think again. There'll be plenty more to come. In addition, the next time Tesla stock surges well beyond price targets, we're going to see the exact same thing play out again. Tesla stock surges past the price target, remains past the price target for a period of time. Analyst looks around and goes, oh geez, I look a bit dumb now, don't I? Time to increase my price target and then reverse engineer a reason why I've increased it other than embarrassment. And this is likely to be the story of Tesla stock for the rest of this decade.
The things to think about with Tesla are the Chinese manufacturing of EVs is growing dramatically. If you look at those numbers and the exports that's going to represent to other Asian countries, that is a threat to Tesla. But I think on the other side, what you've got to consider with Tesla is Ford and GM agreed to use their charging standard. Cybertruck coming soon. There's a lot of tailwinds for Tesla too in the future, but it's hard with the China overhang.
So, I mean, they're all talking about the difficult environment for new vehicles, and that's part of the issue. It's not that Tesla is a terrible company. It's also just the current environment. If you were to play devil's advocate, what might they be saying when they're making these cuts? And can those be turned around? I mean, if you said the environment, then, hey, the environment might improve.
Yeah, look, if I were to speculate, I would say, look, we are in a high interest rate environment. People do take loans out to buy cars, 5-year loans, and those lines are higher than they've been. And that environment is one thing. The other thing is the competitive environment. It is true that every auto manufacturer, especially after the Inflation Reduction Act, is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down in EVs, and that market's going to get crowded. So those things are legit worries that Goldman Sachs or anyone else can have. But Tesla has always out-innovated whenever in a crunch. So you have to, believe in the optimism. I think there's optimism built into the stock price already. But add that now to the charging kind of compact that they had across the U.S., the Inflation Reduction Act subsidies that they're going to get, and some of the new products they have. And I still think it's really one of the best, if not the best auto company stock I'd buy in the world.
So just a couple of things here. If you do view Tesla as an automotive company, which technically portions of their business are automotive, that's really understating the truth of the matter though. They're a technology and software company, an energy company, a battery storage company, an AI company. But yes, if you view Tesla as an automotive company, then that makes a whole lot of sense. I go a step further. Is there a single other automotive company on the planet whose stock you would want to own at this point in time? Personally, I only own Tesla stock, so I think that answers the question, at least from my point of view.
I mean, so the one that I talked about, the environment, I mean, that was more towards Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, was talking more about the stiff competition and that is in fact growing. And there are others who would say that Tesla's just still the clear leader, long and far away the leader. In fact, making new deals of all kinds, including supercharger deals.
Right. Yes. And remember, Chevy Bolt, which was their EV, came out in 2016. So they've had competition for a long time.
You did it, Mary. You competed successfully with Tesla. Just like a fat, lazy, stupid, insecure, self-hating, basement-dwelling adult virgin is competing with NBA players and rappers for the top 1% of women. Very fierce competition. It's definitely uncertain who's going to win. It's a tight one. Too tough to call for sure.
But it is true, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are right that the environment is absolutely getting more competitive. But the thing to note, and look at the California law that's banning combustible engines, the market for EV is growing incredibly fast because of all these state and country mandates about how many EVs you have to have. So
this is flat out wrong. Electric vehicles are now a commercial inevitability. These government mandates, in addition to being unnecessary, bordering on fascist, in fact, not bordering on, just actually fascist, they are not moving the needle. What's moving the needle is Tesla. Tesla has started producing extremely compelling, high-value electric vehicles that are better than comparable ICE vehicles on everything that matters, from safety to performance, features, functionality, upgradability, and so on. This is what I mean when I say a commercial inevitability. In order for companies to stay in business producing cars, electric or otherwise, they now need to produce compelling electric vehicles, because if they don't, Tesla is, and Tesla will eat their lunch. With or without these government incentives, the EV transition is inevitable. The cost of electric vehicles is around price parity with internal combustion engine vehicles. You can buy a new Tesla in the United States today for cheaper than the average new vehicle in the US today. The cost of these things is continuing to decline over time. You do not need to be a genius to realize that if the better technology is cheaper and gets even cheaper and even cheaper and even cheaper over time, the better technology will be adopted. This is where we're at. That's why I say it is commercially inevitable. Governments should A, stay the fuck out of this, and B, don't need to have these incentives. Any company that thinks they're going to be producing internal combustion engine vehicles beyond 2030 will be bankrupt before 2030. You don't need to legislate EVs into existence. It's already happening. Now, there was a case to be made a decade or so ago for incentives because EVs weren't cost competitive, just to get the ball rolling. But we're well past that point. Government incentives have nothing the fuck to do with companies producing electric vehicles. Any proof? Yeah, how about the zero emission vehicle credits? Companies just ignored the rules in the past. The reason they're not ignoring them now isn't because, oh, well, geez, the government said we better make these. No, it's because they realize they'll be bankrupt if they don't transition to EVs ASAP, because that's where consumers are going. That's what consumers want. EVs are the future. Unfortunately, a decade, 15 years from now, all the governments who had these incentives, look, we were successful. Our mandates of 2035, no more internal combustion engine vehicles, worked. The whole world transitioned to EVs before 2030. They'll be patting themselves on the back, thinking it was all because of their incentives, not the commercial inevitability, the declining costs, the disruptive technology.
Tesla will now be playing in a world where the whole world is transitioning to EV. Yes, they'll have more competition, but are they going to be able to sell more cars? I think yes.
Also, I mean, we've left out the fact that it could also be an AI play. I mean, Elon Musk himself has said it certainly is an AI play, in that he talked about open AI and ChatGPT and how Teslas are driving around on their own in California and Texas, and noted that they wouldn't be able to do so without AI, and praising this possibility. I mean, could this be the kind of stock that doubles, for example?
Another example of groupthink and herd mentality. It's true, Tesla is an AI company. However, out of absolutely nowhere in the last few months, people are starting to realize and recognize and acknowledge this fact, which has been obvious and evident for literally years. Suddenly, enough people are now talking about AI. Enough people are recognizing progress in AI. The people who thought Tesla was just a car company are now starting to recognize, wait, maybe they are an AI company after all. It's just like the Wall St NPC is chasing after Tesla stock. I don't know how many times we've heard Tesla and AI mentioned in the last 3 to 6 months. It's probably 100 times more frequent than the preceding 12 months. Nothing's changed about Tesla. They have done literally nothing at all, zero new things regarding artificial intelligence in the last year. But suddenly the narrative's starting to change, and the narrative is correct. Tesla is an AI company. Isn't it interesting, out of absolutely nowhere, just about everybody's starting to talk about this and recognize this? Whereas you try telling people Tesla's an AI company 12 months ago, they'll laugh you out of the fucking room.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there is no company that's further along in self-driving cars besides Tesla. And Waymo, which is part of Google, is just a software. They don't build cars. So Elon's building the full stack. And he's been doing this for a long time, collecting data, using AI to process that data and help the car make decisions. And that's only going to get better with all these new technologies that are coming out in AI. So, the notion that there are going to be a whole bunch of self-driving Teslas out there creating a network that like Uber has, where you can call a car, is really becoming more and more of a reality than it ever was. And he is far and away the leader in that game with Tesla.
These points are all spot on, but again, literally nothing has changed at all in this story over the last probably 48 months, 52 months, 60 months. Nothing has changed. One more time, nothing has changed. The story remains the same. Tesla's unassailable data lead remains the same. Their fleet of vehicles collecting data and growing exponentially remains the same. The story has not changed at all, but the narrative is starting to change. I wonder how long until people start talking about Tesla expanding the global labor market. Best guess, probably another 7, 8, maybe 10 years. Time will tell.
Right, understood. You had a time that you were with Uber, and that's something people are still waiting on for Uber as well. Thoughts there?
Yeah, look, Uber sold their self-driving car division, so they decided it was too expensive. And I think that was the right decision, because it cost billions and billions of dollars for technology that's 5-10 years away at the time. I do hope that what happens is the self-driving car technology that Elon's building, I do hope actually other companies develop it, like Toyota, GM, or Ford.
Spoiler alert, not going to fucking happen, bro. What's going to happen, if these companies have any sense, is they're going to be crawling to Tesla on their hands and knees, begging to license FSD. At least if they have any sense. If not, they're not even going to realize this is existential and they need to do this, otherwise they'll die, and then they'll just die.
And then those cars could sit inside the Uber network. So you can call a car and it may be driven by a human driver or a non-human driver. And I think that's sort of the future. It's a far away future, but it's a future. And I think Uber's actually pretty well positioned not to develop the technology, but to use it.
Right, understood. What have I left out? Because there are a lot of Tesla bears out there, too, who think they're not going to be making chips. They're not really a battery company. But people are lined up for the Cybertruck, for everything that Tesla puts out there, and they see Elon Musk as a visionary. I mean, what's your final thought here? What do you say to the bears?
Look, what I say to the bears is every time this company has had their obituary written or their valuation sort of temporarily hit, they've come back because of all these opportunities that were the seeds have been planted for a long time.
This is a really great point. He's absolutely nailed it. If you think about it today, there are dozens of seeds germinating within Tesla that people are entirely ignoring. They're ignoring the AI seed, even though it was there and germinating and growing for half a decade or more. They're ignoring the humanoid robot. They're ignoring the energy business, the storage business, the future of energy globally. Tesla's going to have a huge part in generating, storing, and supplying energy. That seed's germinating. People are ignoring it. The 50% cheaper manufacturing system, the next-gen vehicle. Tesla was so detailed and clear about what they've developed. Everyone's ignoring that seed as well. There are dozens more I could describe. I don't want this video to be too long, but this is a really great point. Every time Tesla's obituary is written, it's over now, the competition's coming, or just wait till the big boy. Not going to happen. And people are ignoring all of these germinating seeds, especially the moronic Wall Street analysts who are just chasing Tesla stock up and down. What seeds? What are you talking about, you idiot? The stock's up or down. We need to change our price target so we don't look dumb.
So, and in no time, they become the biggest car company in the world. And I say that to the bears, you're just going to get squeezed at some point. You may be right, and maybe you have to time your short sales and so on. But I'd be wary of shorting Tesla.
Well, that makes two of us, my friend. Unless, of course, you have a humiliation fetish and or you're one of those people that's into destroying their capital and their reputation, in which case, go for it, bro. Enjoy the third-degree financial burns and the entire world pointing and laughing at you. So to recap, the Wall Street NPCs continue to follow the decision tree I laid out a few weeks ago ahead of time, knowing exactly what they would do, telling you what they would do, and, well, now they're doing what I told you they would do. Awkward. Apparently, the world is just starting to realize that Tesla is in fact not just a car company, but may have some AI capabilities as well. If only we had have known this ahead of time. In fact, if only Tesla had told us ahead of time. In fact, imagine if Tesla had actually held AI days in the past. Wouldn't that be a bit of a hint? Of course, none of that happened, so it's not anyone's fault that they didn't realize Tesla was an AI company until yesterday. Better late than never. And as I mentioned, I still generally think that the stock market, especially analysts, but many retail investors as well, are going to continue to think what everyone else thinks instead of thinking for themselves, and as a result, miss the true underlying opportunity that Tesla represents. A little bit of food for thought. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. Certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it. You'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment and please let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment, see you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.